All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my rocketry friends, and more importantly, Happy New Year's. We're about 3 weeks into the new year, so hopefully everyone's New Year's resolutions are settling in and on track with those. Granted, we're 1 week away from being able to give those up and have that be socially acceptable. I myself am already going to be giving up one of my rocket resolutions with this little Estes Goblin here for a silly build that's going to be for some eyebrow raising fun, and I'll explain that in a minute. Well, one of my rocket resolutions this year was to not start any new projects at all until I have all my lingering ones complete, as I have a lot of unfinished projects around the shop. That's fairly common in this hobby, but I'm going to say this one doesn't even count because it's a little guy, it's an Estes kit, but we're going to have some serious fun with this. But anyways, on that same notion of rocket resolutions, just a little insight of what's happening this year with us is, big one is level 3 planning. I have almost all my parts for my build, and what I'm going to be doing is an upscale of one of my childhood favorites, which is this one right here. This is a mid-90s, early to mid-90s kit. That's this Maniac. When I was a little tyke, I thought that was the coolest thing on the planet. My nickname was the Maniac. And so I'm going to be doing a 562% upscale version of that, using lock precision parts, PML nose cone. Actually, I have it right here because I just love looking at it. This thing's absolutely huge. I'm not going to be able to even get it in the frame, but thank you, Jesse Ulibarri, for that nose cone. And that all being wrapped around a 98mm motor mount, so that'll be tons of fun. Other things have come down the pipeline, some high power clusters and some unique upscales. Other things I want to do this year is help grow the community, maybe give some more stuff away, etc. And actually, hold that thought, let me show you this. This is an upscale I'm particularly excited about. It's going to be one of my most complex builds, but here's just the graphics. Teaser of that. And I'll say this, if you know what these might be for, comment below and we'll start away the giveaway. I'll mail you guys a Goblin kit and some other Estes kits possibly. So comment below what those graphics are for and you'll win a prize. Yay! Okay, so onto the Goblin. Why we're building this one. So these things came out in, early 1970s. Is when they first became available in the Estes catalogs, and sadly they've dropped off the manufacturing list for 2023. Now they are coming out with a 3-inch upscale version of this, as these have been popular for many years as a upscale platform. Lock Precision does a few versions, like Wildman has a few, like a lot of people have done much larger versions of this one, but sad to say the little one's going away, so I figured the proper send-off will be to build a bonkers one of these, as I'll show you. So what makes these things popular is it's a small rocket, but it's a 24mm motor mount in here, so it flies on Estes D engines, and dollar for dollar, it's a pretty high performance rocket. They're pretty cheap, and on a D motor these things rip. 1,400 feet or so is what the face card shows, but are fun platforms to modify. A couple years ago, us and a few guys in the club set these up to fly on composite motors. We flew Aerotech E20s and E28s and F44s, which were a ton of fun on here. I think they're pulling 52, 56 Gs off the pad, and it was absolutely ballistic. And actually, pause. I have a clip of this. Thank you, Scott Lilja, for attempting to track these things off the pad. Did a pretty good job. Let me show you what these things looked like on the F44s. Okay, so yeah, totally fun. And what's crazy about those flights is we got them back. I actually had 4 flights on my last composite build, Goblin, and the only reason it got scrapped is 1.2 grams of ejection powder was boring a hole in the side of the airframe, and it then became scrapped. So that one was tossed, and I'm going to build another one, but I'm going to take it to the next level with this. Brand new Cicerone Pro 24 6-grain case. Let me open this puppy up. Ugh. There we go. So here it is, a big motor. There's a comparison between a D engine and a 6-grain Cicerone case, but keeping it true to the stock motor diameter of 24 millimeter here, I wanted to use this. And now we could put G reloads in here. So we've got Fluties on Fs, but I think a CTI G145 pink propellant would be absolutely hilarious in this thing. Preliminary sims show it braking Mach at 100 feet off the ground and passing through Mach 1.3 at about 250 feet off the ground in less than a second into its flight. So that's going to be insane. One thing that's funny with this build setup is the motor tube is, or sorry, the propellant casing, same length as the motor tube. So that I'll be making for some unique configuration changes I'll have to make to the nose cone, as far as how we're going to fit it all in here. Obviously definitely have to lop off the bottom of this to clearance the motor case and fit recovery and potentially tracking here. I'm not going to put a $200 GPS track in his nose, but one thing I'm going to try is cutting apart one of these. Now these are Amazon, they call them personal alarms, but they are ear deafening, like literally make your ears bleed decibel levels that will emit from this thing when you pull this pin as an audible tracker attempt for this. Now most of this spacing here is casing, but the circuitry is actually quite small, so I'm hoping to take this apart and be able to cram some sort of, we'll call it a screamer, I think is the proper terminology for these, into the nose cone here. In conjunction with a very large, skinny, reflective mylar streamer in an effort to be able to recover this thing. So now that said, if I donate this case to the gods above us, so be it. It'll be for a hopefully entertaining project and flights from that standpoint. So other things that we're going to do to make this thing survive is take the fins out of the package here and throw them away. Yep, these are going to be totally trash. Actually, I'm going to do that right now. Oh, there we go, trash can. Because they'll shred off. We were losing fins on these as they were surface mount balsa on the E20 flights. And for the F-44s, we have upgraded to these guys. Now this is Vanderburn fins that are being sold through Launch Lab Rocketry now. These are 1/8 inch laser cut plywood fins. Being upgraded as far as to through the wall as well, instead of being surface mount. And they also include the 2 centering rings here in laser cut plywood as well to add that next level of durability. I'm not going to fiberglass this. It is going to pull a pretty insane amount of G-force coming off the pad. But one thing I'm going to do is lengthen the inner motor mount tube to be almost the length of the airframe itself. Use the factory big cardboard center rings and the plywood center rings to do a 4-ring setup, and I'm hoping that's going to have plenty of stiffness in here with through the wall fins as well. That should make this thing survive the flight, but we will see. It's Monday morning, and we are going to try to fly this on Saturday morning at our local club launch here shortly. So should be a good time to do a proper send-off again of this little Goblin with, I'm guessing, I don't know if anyone's put more power in it than in a 24 millimeter case than what Cicerone offers in these Pro 24 6-grains. So should be absolutely a good time. So with that said, let's get building. I'll do a quick kind of time-lapse cut, and then we'll fly here in a few days. Thank you guys, and have a great day.